This content is the creative work of Channels Without Borders, all rights reserved 2025. Visit channelswithoutborders.com. Feel free to share this with friends. More information and links are in the description.
Why do you refer to God as He?
Good now. A good place to begin is to remind you that words do not and cannot express or tell the truth. At best, they are pointers. As the poet said, a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. So, how do we begin even to speak about what is sometimes called God? Well, we will begin by addressing the question. There is no gender in the divine, in the oneness. Masculinity and femininity are part of duality, belonging to the illusion. In divinity, there is no he-ness or she-ness. To talk about God, we're left to deal with the language as it is. Here's a little story, which some of you might be familiar with if you have been reading these messages for a long time. At one time, the closing that was used read, "Goddess bless you." This was a fine mind game, playing around with the gender identification that the mass consciousness holds for the one. If some minds were thrown for loops, we're all for such accomplishments. Goddess is no more an expression of truth than is God. When we change the closing to "God blesses you," as you can see, there was also a change in verb form, replacing the common request or wish with a statement of what is. Everything is always blessed by God. Over time, that gave way to "good now," which is doubly fun. Not only is it an encouragement to honor the present moment, but it also is a great greeting in this digital world where people are experiencing all different times of the day when communicating with each other. Good morning just doesn't cut it if it's evening for another. There was also a method in the madness of choosing God as the new moniker. We were also playing some mind games here. Many people have an identification with a male god, and it brings fearful pictures for them, such as the vengeful, wrathful Old Testament God. Hearing the masculine pronoun attached to the divinity we are speaking of triggers confusion and reactions for some people. It's their own projection on God that requires some investigation. One final visit to old motivations for gender use. Most readers pictured Sanhia as a male form. This partly comes from the male body channel and from some of the past life stories that were in circulation. In truth, I am also possessing no gender and am, in fact, not even Sanhia. That's just a name, like God. I allowed these illusions to fester uncontested because they allowed a game to be played. The great majority of those meeting with us or reading the messages were attached to female bodies. They often feared and gave away their power to masculine energy. My teaching was that the feminine always leads the masculine. Notice this does not say the female always leads the male. The feminine energy is intuitive, going inside for guidance. The masculine energy is mental and active. You can see the folly in allowing action to take place without guidance. So the fun game was that these women gave power to the perceived masculinity, and we use that power to encourage them to take their own power, to trust and follow their own guidance. We never told anybody what to do, only encouraged them to follow their own guidance. All games have their time, and now it's time to move on. It doesn't matter what you call this divine isness. You can call it the oneness, divine presence, divine absence, everything, nothing, Brahman, Atman, or Allah. It makes no difference because the name neither defines it nor tells what it is. We can understand that an individual could have a problem with a significant term because of past associations with that word. If you are plugged in by the term God, feel free to choose an unloaded term, or you can use that term and deal with what comes up for you emotionally and in your body. It makes no difference. We are inspired by this month's question to drop the gender issue altogether. For the present, we will change our reference to the divinity previously known as God to it. That's it. You, of course, are welcome to continue using whatever term catches your fancy. We have more to say about this. One thing that comes up for most people on the spiritual path as they talk about it is that they consider themselves to be separate from it. They want to learn how to have an experience of being one with it, or perhaps to be able to surrender to the will of it. Or there may be a desire to feel loved and accepted, forgiven and not judged by it. There may be some fear of it. Perhaps the dropping of the masculine identity will reduce this fear, but maybe it doesn't. Again, it is likely, as you are reading this, that you feel separate from it, and the idea of being one with it seems beyond the realm of possibility. Actually, it is the only possibility. You are it. Separation from it is impossible. If everything comes from it, how could it stand separate? How could that be possible? We ask you to look and see who it is that notices you. If you is your body, your story and history, your plans and goals, your accomplishments and failures, who is it that is noticing this you? Perhaps your response is, it's me noticing me. Can a light shine upon itself? Is that possible? The isness is noticing. The isness is aware. There is no you doing this. This is the one and only lesson there is. There is no you there to do anything. There is only the awareness of doing happening. As I say this, I wish to remind you again that this is not the truth. There is nothing here that the mind can ever understand. The mind that creates the problem, the belief that there is a separate you that chooses and is responsible, cannot grasp the solution. Belief comes from the mind. It comes from separation. Knowing has nothing to do with belief. You don't believe that the sun is rising. It is rising. You can neither cause it nor stop it. You are. There is nothing can be done about that. You did not bring your awareness into existence, and you cannot stop it. One thing you can try is to take a step back. Look at this self that you thought of as you. Watch it acting. Notice that what is watching is not what is acting. See if you can tell where this noticer is watching from. Where does it sit? Is it within the body? If so, where is it located? Can you go there? Can you truly find where this awareness lies? If it feels like it is outside the body, can you go to the place where it is? Try this until you realize that it's not in the body, but it is also in no particular place in space. Space, like time, is not real. It's just the screen upon which this life story is projected. You're the watcher of this movie, not the actor. If you think you are the actor, take a step back. Who is watching the actor? Step back as often and as far as is needed until you realize that the watcher simply is, without a body nor a place. Maybe you will step back so far that, like in the cartoon, you fall back into the abyss. Who knows how and when the letting go of the personal self will occur? This is not about understanding, it's only about noticing. All comes from it, as your awareness comes from it. It observes life. It is life. Life lives you. The physical is simply here, and events simply seem to occur in time. There is no volition involved. You, the actor, have no choice. Things simply happen. The divine truth of you is simultaneously observing and participating. The participation will happen in a smooth, connected way unless the mind thinks it's supposed to somehow change what is.
With this being feeling like a separate entity, as most humans identify themselves, it's not so easy to understand. Also because we have made God to be so separate from us. Is there some way to make it easier to come into contact with this divine energy or this oneness that we are?
You begin by saying that it is difficult to understand this. I would say that you're understating the situation. It is impossible to understand this. Can you understand the taste of a strawberry? Can you explain to another who has not tasted a strawberry what that experience is like? The only way one can know what the taste of a strawberry is would be to taste one. Then, whether you have no desire to ever taste another or you want many more strawberries, you know what the taste is like. Are you now able to explain that taste to another? Can you even put it into words for yourself? Can the truth of the taste of a strawberry ever be communicated or understood? Can you ever understand the truth of who the physical you is? Why you are here, or what you are supposed to do? In parallel, can you explain or understand the awareness that notices what's going on in the space about you? It's absolutely impossible. All that can be done is to experience it. Take a taste and see what is there. You can notice and pay attention. The attempts at understanding will be fruitless and will merely pull you away from the experiencing. If you have the direct experience that there is no personal you, there is simply awareness and beingness, how would or could you explain that to yourself or to another?
There is something that comes up in me when I hear this. There is a recognition.
A recognition of?
Who I am, of oneness, and that enormous love. It's like I've had an experience that has left a recognition in me. I don't know exactly what it is, but as you talk, I recognize it. Yes, it might be like that.
If you were to explain what this experience is like to another listening to this conversation, what would you say?
I don't know. Maybe it's like the strawberry in my mouth would taste a certain way, but for another it might be experienced or described in a different way.
That may well be true, but can you even describe how it is in your mouth? Are there words that would give another that direct experience so that they would know exactly what it would be like?
I don't think you can get it from outside. It's an inner experience.
How would you explain color to a blind person? Is that possible to do? And, as you inferred with the strawberries, does another even see the same green that you see? If you see a lineup of TVs in a store, no two show exactly the same green. Which one is the true green? Maybe what another sees as green, you would call red. It seems like a crazy thought, but how could you ever know?
I don't know. I don't think I could ever know that.
So, all that matters is your experience of green in the now, or the taste of the strawberry. There is no truth here, only experience. All of that is one with it. All emanates from it and is it, is a manifestation of it, is an expression of it. Also, as an expression of it, is the little you we could call little it. In actuality, there's no little it, just it, watching, breathing life and light into little it.
When you say all this, it seems like everybody has their own individual experience of the now. It seems that you can just experience it yourself.
It is not you experience life. It is life or it experiencing you. The actual experiencer is it. You are just the entertainment on the screen. What is of interest is that the experience of it that you are aware of comes from a unique perspective. Nobody else is watching the same movie, but all movies are interconnected. You cannot watch someone else's movie any more than they can watch yours. Any attempt to understand this or to know why this is so can only lead you away from the experience and the awareness of it and into confusion and suffering. The movie is divine, perfect as it is, meant to be fully experienced, a gift from it. Good now.
This content is the creative work of Channels Without Borders, all rights reserved 2025. Visit channelswithoutborders.com. Feel free to share this with friends. More information and links are in the description.